Today is Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm a big fan of at times when it's raining outside and you're the only one training outside. That entities above, they notice that. They say, look at this cat. There you go. And you at least get the nod, right? Maybe you get some very detailed intrinsic documentation, more detailed than a Dr. Masaru Emoto water picture instantly uploaded, downloaded, or cross-loaded to mark you up for a step in the right direction, even more so than you could pull off on your own. Maybe, right? Either which way, I like to think that, especially in cognizance of Bill Mollison's observation in nature, where everything should have two or more purposes or functions involved with the action or the installation and the selection. Well, I want to pick today, these important days where you think about family. Well, to make a message, to work a little bit harder, my brain, to pressure myself just a little bit more, because those Valiant types, we like the pressure. We put ourselves under pressure so that we can put ourselves under pressure, because we truly care about operating in those dire necessity times. We're just valiantly cognated. We're honorably aligned. Those are the grains of our inner material, and that is the magnetization of our metaphysical being. All right, I'm gonna stop talking in such terms, right? But it's nice to be poetic, and I like eloquent oration, especially when delivered in a melodic fashion. So, but I'm not the best at doing that kind of stuff. I can tell you some of the people that I follow who are, I am a blunt truth teller. I'm very good at giving people the brutal truth. So, and I know how triggering it is to get the brutal truth, that I give it very respectfully, normally. If I have been in a situation where an unfortunate young person that I deeply care about has been brutally brainwashed and witchcrafted by what I would call one of the most filthiest parental hose beasts, if you could even have the word parental in there, a parent by definition sacrifices in every way for the benefit of their child. In my mind, that's what defines a parent. Now, society, whatever at the top, I consider is very arguable, but corrupt court systems where there's no lawyer provided for you. In fact, it's a racket. It is a child trafficking state-sponsored racket right in front of your face. And you will be on your knees given the entirety of your bank accounts, and you will go for loans way faster than somebody who's got some ill business at a horse trap. I'm telling you, you will be in pain. All right? If you love your kids. If you don't love your kids, they're not likely not to be used for this. But how could that work? But in this case where the father has every intention of protecting and executing the DNA, the Papa Bear DNA in every way, to give this child a better life, those guys are ripe targets for this. And they're A-gamers, or else the kid never would have, right? Because the people who do this to the kids, they were just going after A-gamers because they're whirlwind walking black holes. They are walking whirlwind black holes, and they've sucked in little chunks of communities, likely in several different locations. I mean, seriously, extensive damage that's not exposed on the surface, as in the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp expose, where we got a great education about the millions and trillions of dollars of damage that these people quickly do for a little benefit, to be revered as a hero of victimhood, which they were not. It turns out they were the more aggressive, violent, and look, how much more violent can you get than to go and lie to media publications and ruin a man completely with lies? I mean, how much more domestically violent could you go? Oh wait, you could get their kid into this and weaponize their kid against them to be enmeshed with you, just like David Goggins' daughter, just like 50 Cent's oldest son. They've been so enmeshed with these abusive, liar people, and they come out with so many attachments and enmeshments that they have to protect them, just like Elizabeth Smart had to protect her captors. Right? She denied her real parents and denied that those were not her parents, that they were kidnapping abusive people that were actually raping her and weaponizing her and psychologically warping this kid for every kind of sick desire of intention, most, control freak ownership of you exist to complete us, this sick opposite of parent schematic. Am I right? Aren't I? Right? That's kind of like opposite of parent, I feel like. I would never, be in the life of another living person and use it for my own pleasure, sick kicks, to see another person fall, use to hurt someone, invent thousands of lies over a good person just because I didn't like them. Just because they didn't like me, right? That's really what it is. So, Bangland, I just want to check in. I wanted to do something significant in the effort to expose this crime that's easily investigatable. I mean, guys, why is there not a specialized task force nationwide saying there are armies of fathers on Facebook and all these other different groups, and they are saying their kids have been kidnapped and weaponized against them, and they have been trashed financially, reputationally, and every kind of other way with invented lies and crazy moves, Well, let's investigate all these horrible people who use their kids to take down excellent men, who likely had these kids to trap excellent men. My story, right? Graphically, very clearly had these kids to trap these excellent men. And when they couldn't take these crazy demonic people that would do this kind of thing anymore because they're free spirits or whatever, like get off of me, control freak, then they use the kid to destroy them. And they expect to get paid, and they do get paid. They get paid ridiculous amounts of money. And in the case of 50 Cent's oldest kid and David Goggins' kid, they get paid way past the age of 18. This stuff started out to just be to the age of 4, then to the age of 8. Now it's a child racket thing, and all these judges and lawyers with the BMWs who need family conflict to exist. I mean, if I was the devil, and I could sneak this in on a civilization, I got the perfect thing in on these people. There's no advocates. There's no peep for help. Quiet down. Pay the ransom. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, let the mother run all over the place, do whatever the hell she wants in brand new sports cars, talking all kinds of bullshit. You know what I mean? All tyrant, out of control. And if you don't like it, we'll throw you in jail. And you know what I mean? So I'm an honorable served veteran, y'all. But I'm not coming back to the I'm in protest of the United States because they have this family. How could you be so irresponsible as to allow a butcher of this magnitude to go on for this long with no quality assurance, and this amount of people in gross protest with 5,000 groups everywhere, people pleading on their needs, fortunes lost over and over and over. Vice does documentaries about these horrible, greasy, and their girlfriends that they're abusing right on camera. Top lawyers that get into this field, they're 30 times worse than the ambulance cases. It's little kids. It's little innocent kids who are desperately loved by these people, who are screaming out in every direction, and there's no child abuse. And it's the worst child abuse according to the investigators. In my case, I sent all those professionals, there's hundreds of them, making videos and compilation videos and every kind of video, made my own videos and sent them to the child abuser. I interviewed everybody who was around me about what kind of father I really was, what kind of person I was, on what kinds of effects of the community I had. I've got over $2 million of real loss. All my motorcycles, all my vehicles, all lost in an attempt to jail me at a false address with a false child support amount after I paid through 2 kidnappings. Can you believe that shit? And I was collecting the remains of my biological father, who my mother did not tell me was my father, who told me was my uncle, because it was the brother of her married husband at that time, the person who is biologically my uncle, who I thought was my father, right? But she never told anyone. But not until his murder, which is on the cover of Playboy magazine, okay? Not until his murder, which is in a Dateline special, all right? Did I come down here and collect the body and give it to the investigation, my DNA, that I find out that this person was my biological father. Well, guess what? This horrible individual, but doesn't stop there. Once my father could not take her anymore either and asked for a divorce, she quickly had me locked up around 14 to 18-year-olds in lockup places at the age of 10 or 11 or 12, whatever the age was, right? We think it was 10. Me and my father both. And he says that on recordings. Anyway, this has actually been quite the magical story on our side of the fence, but with some incredible Jerry Springer witches on the other side of the fence that have lived horrible, defunct, disgusting lives, are horribly out of shape, are no good for any real purpose, and they've done worlds of child abuse and grandchild abuse, and lying about people, it's really just been a disgusting episode of watching these people. And these women are empowered by the system. These kids do not think that their dads are super dads that were attacked by these parasitic women. These kids are abuse victims, and they're not really going to have a chance at really figuring this out while their abuser continues to throw hooks into their lip and control their lives. So there is some serious, they say it's the ultimate form of child abuse. I have a film, banglandmovie.com. I have had several projects. I've tried to do everything I can, trust me, beating down trees with my bare hands, screaming into pillows. None of it does justice. None of it does justice. All I do is enhance life. Now, by the way, I live in Central and South America. I help people do alternative agriculture. Down here, I help nature. The way I look at it is I help nature help people do alternative agriculture down here. It just so happens I'm one of the most guaranteed installers of botanical and animal life down here. I like to do it. All the animals like me, you know. I just really, I think serving nature is a great option, especially for a lot of you targeted parents who have just seen the most brutal shit, and the people act like they didn't do anything and twist everybody into this reality that you're the bad guy, you know. And you're just like, what? That, like, we all do have PTSD. It's unavoidable. When you watch, it's my friend Aaron Roberts, God rest his soul, just died, and I'm gonna tell his story in this story, you know. And he was in my coaching program. I felt divinely called from above to watch this guy. He called me right before he died, and he was tortured. And it was 1 year after contact denial that we watched this guy withered into death after cut off from his daughter, and she was being brainwashed to say just ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. I can't even believe it. Anyway, I get worked up. You know. So anyway, I just wanted to make another check-in. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I'd love to work with someone on this presentation. I'm open for collaboration. You know, I want to make it as impactful as possible. It will take a long time. My story has got a lot of little things, slowly but surely, a lot of little tentacles on it that are going to be very long and very powerful. And as a follow-up chapter to an already national or international story, you know, a follow-up wave to an already international story, and then we'll have. So anyway, little by little, right, as the plant grows, you know, I know there's nothing. These pussy child abusers, they can do pussy child abuse, but that's about it. They can file these bullshit filings at false addresses, but that's about it. They can talk like there's some completely other shit than they are, but we all know what that is. I think parental alienation is really the most grotesque child abuse bullshit. You know, the fact that it happens from a parent that you're supposed to be able to trust. This happened to me. You know what I mean? I think these fucking women are disgusting that have kids for their own personal benefit. And the kids who don't realize how disgusting they are, it's even an ode to how much more fucking disgusting those ones are than the ones for those of us who do understand exactly how disgusting they are, and we've broken off all contact, you know. And these people should be ashamed, and I know that not one damn one of them is going to go to a monastery or do the right thing or apologize or try to pay for any kind of damage or whatever kind of shit whatsoever. They're going to go to their deathbed like this, you know what I mean? They're child abusers. They're child abusers. They're child abusers in the worst of ways. And like I said, they'll watch, just like a physical molester. They know exactly how damaging what they're doing is to the kid, but they don't care. Their desire is more important. And they'll fucking cross every wire in this kid's head and everyone's around them to not be discovered. They're sick, horrible pieces of shit. And they're right up the street that way, right up the street this way, right up. It's like the king came with the Braveheart law, and he's just like, we're going to see which ones of these people are pieces of shit from the inside. You know, we're going to offer a carrot out here that these people can just rape dad with. No one's going to listen to them. Man, listen, I got $2 and $3 million of losses. DCSE or none of these people have anything to answer for that, or the child abuse textbook results that are written all over this kid front to back. The results are in, but still, it's not their fault. They didn't do that, and even the kid. That's not what you're describing me exactly what I am, but I'm telling you, it's not from exactly what it comes from. It's fucking amazing. Amazing psychological holdbacks. Much love. Merry Christmas.